Hi, this is Majin, and today this spot here would normally be for the good, the bad, and the disappointing. But let's just be honest, the bad and the disappointing really is Convergence, and this has got to be the worst crossover book of major event that DC or Marvel has put out in modern history. I mean, I have issues with Siege and I have issues with Fear itself and all these other books, but at least I kind of knew that there was a direction and a focus. This was just a mess. It was. Let's go into why this is a mess. All right. For Convergence, this is gonna be some spoilers. So if you are worried about spoilers, then just come back later once you've read number 8. But spoilers are already out online. So here's the deal. Convergence for DC, what their main thing with this entire book was basically was to undo Crisis. They undid everything. Every single reboot, retcon is eliminated because of Convergence. What they've done is they've taken every single world and every single timeline, everything, and they've now made them all in continuity. Which, on one hand, people might be going, okay, well, that doesn't sound like it's too bad. You know, you have 52 different Supermen, 52 different Green Arrows, 52 of every single other superhero. And what's wrong with that? Well, the thing is, DC had to create Crisis on Infinite Earths to eliminate all of the multiverse because it was becoming too chaotic. Nobody knew what was going on. Because you had all these different worlds, you had, different flashes, different flashes that didn't make sense. The fans didn't know where everything fit, and it was just literally a mess. So Crisis basically said, okay, we're going to eliminate all the extra. We're going to put one universe, and we're going to take what we feel is the best from all the different universes and put them onto one world. And that way we'll tell our story from there. And I thought, you can argue whether or not that was the brightest of moves or not, but at the time that was a direction to go, and it was a huge success for DC. Now, Convergence undid everything, and I understand times change, and I understand that what was once great 20, 30 years ago, this just doesn't necessarily mean it's valid today. But let's get straight to the point. Convergence, in a sense, proved that DC's New 52 is a failure. If to remember, DC's thing was, we want a new, clean, slick, young, vibrant universe, and we want to create diversity within that universe. And diversity, not necessarily by meaning female titles or titles of different nationalities. It was, we're going to have our dark line, we're going to have supernatural, we're going to have all these different westerns. We're going to have different genres, and we're going to diversify our storyline that way. And over the years, or months I should say, every so often we get a big purge, and it basically was showing us that their line of comics really wasn't that doing very well. Like I, Vampire, for example, failed. It was a great idea, great, fantastic artwork, but it just couldn't find an audience. And you could see the cracks in their armor where, unless the book was Batman, Superman, or had those two characters in there somehow, the book was technically, just wasn't up to par in terms of sales. And Convergence basically is DC's way of going, okay, well, we can still keep our New 52, and we can give everybody pre-Flashpoint that everybody seems to love. We can even go back farther and give people pre-Crisis in case they wanted that. For the old-time fans, we could give them the Elseworlds books, and we can do whatever. We can pick heroes and stories from different characters, different timelines, and it's all continuity. And if anything, it's just going to prove to be ultimately more confusing if they don't pick and choose their titles correctly, which, we know how it's all going to boil down to. It's all going to boil down to Superman, Batman, and maybe a Flash or Wonder Woman or something like that, which is going to be the shame. But anyways, the one shining moment out of Convergence is the artwork. The artwork was really strong throughout the whole series, and which actually is a rarity considering Convergence was a weekly book. You would expect the artwork to just have fill-in artists and just be really bad over every so often you'd have a bad issue. But as a whole, I will say Convergence was very strong in terms of art. But King did a horrible job with the storyline. It's kind of like fan fiction done horrible, in the sense where you have the story, it's not even paced correctly. And then nobody knows what's going on, is the sad thing. They threw us into Convergence with not a lot of information going into it. I mean, granted, if you read the websites, you could get bits and pieces of the storyline, but I've talked to many people who, do pay attention to that kind of stuff, and they all were going, I really have no idea what's going on. I don't know why they're doing this. Why is this important? What's going on? While that's going on, you have this really bad idea of having these different bottled cities that must fight. It's like, if the city doesn't fight, it's destroyed. If they battle, only one city can survive. And that city is going to be the one that's going to be basically recreated their universe, and everything will be great for them. And it formed this little Highlander situation where, going in, you kind of already knew, well, okay, New 52 can't lose. Because if New 52 loses, then they're rebooting. And we know that they're not rebooting because they've already announced all of their new titles. So there's that problem right off the bat. So it was basically, what were they going to do? And which was, we're not rebooting, we're just giving you the keys to the city, and everything is valid now. So it's basically like DC just throwing their hands in the air going, all right, we give up. We can't create good stories with our New 52 characters, so we're going to let our creators use anything that they want. And hopefully they'll be able to create something good out of that. The other problem that Convergence has is, who is the villain? At first it's first it's Brainiac, and then it's quickly not Brainiac, it's the Talos guy, which is fine. We kind of knew Talos was going to be involved, right from the beginning. So that part was okay. Then we got this guy who's like the Watcher, and he's destroying things on the outside of the universe, outside of their little zone. So this is basically be the New 52 world universe. That he's doing that, and none of the heroes seem to be able to do anything with that. We have basically every single evil superhero is now a villain. And you got this other guy here, who I forgot his name, but he basically steals the power, and he becomes the new enemy. And it's kind of like it's this rotating chair as to who's the villain. You couldn't keep track. I mean, if you missed, one issue, you'd miss who the villain is, type thing. Then on top of that, the fight it's really uninspiring. It's basically, they get their artists to draw their favorite characters, and then they all pile on. And not only do the heroes pile on, but the villains pile on at the same time. And then Phalanx, or is it, he basically just kills everybody. I mean, not kills everybody, he kills the villain. Just like that. Instant death. And then they go, well, you shouldn't have done that because it's causing everything's now unstable. And it's over. We're kind of screwed now. And then we get to the very end, where they resurrect Brainiac, and this has got to be one of the most pathetic villains I've ever seen. He's basically, he starts off, Brainiac comes back, and all the heroes are like, attack, and it's over. The fight is over in a page. And he's just like, but you guys, I just wanted to do good. That's all I ever wanted to do, was just do good. I just want to go home. Sniff. And he just goes home. Yeah, you're hearing that correctly. He just wants to go home. And he wants to make everything right in the universe. Because he feels that the person he is now is not the person he was. Could you imagine Dr. Doom going to Reed Richards saying, Reed, I'm sorry for all the trouble I've given you. I'm not the person who I thought I was. I'm going to be good, and we're going to be best of buddies. We're gonna have family picnics. We're going to throw the football, and we'll take the kids to Disneyland. That's what happened here. I'm telling you, that is what happened. Now, here's the thing that royally just, when I got to the point, I swear to you, I just threw the comic down. DC put out this as a weekly book. So you had 8 weeks. And in each of these weeks, you had a miniseries, multiple miniseries of 3 issues. And it was always heroes from this time versus heroes of that time. It was basically a copycat story. Copy and paste, right? What do they do here? Brainiac says, I can't make the universe, the multiverse, whole again because of the first crisis. The first crisis is preventing that from happening. So I need somebody to go there to make sure that crisis is saved. Like the crisis is averted. So basically, what they're looking to do is they're looking to save Barry. They're looking to save Supergirl, and they're gonna fight the Monitor. And the heroes on one panel go through the wormhole, so to speak, and then the next page everything's good. I was like, what in bloody hell? This here was probably the best. This could have been the most epic of the miniseries. Imagine a retelling of Crisis where you have heroes trying to save heroes that died. There's going to be still heroes that will die regardless. You may even have new heroes die in their place of ones that were saved. And you have a hero turned Omega level villain who goes back with the heroes in a sense of redemption. I want to know who at DC thought that wasn't a good story. That's what I want to know. That person needs to be fired. That is much more of a better story than 3 heroes from pre-Crisis versus Captain Carrot and his zoo crew, or 3 Flashpoint heroes versus New 52 heroes. I'm telling you, those were copy-paste. This could have been a freaking outstanding series. It doesn't even have to be long. It doesn't even have to be drawn out. It could have been 3 issues. Something short and quick, get to the point, and then show how things changed. Epic. But no, the most important, crucial moment in the entire Convergence storyline is handled. It worked. We don't know what happens, but it worked. Unfucking real. I swear to God, man, I just threw this thing down. I almost just forever. I came close to just forever banning DC from ever entering my house again. That's how pissed off I was with this nonsensical ending. You know, everything is put back nicely, neatly. There's no consequences, nothing. This is freaking insanity. This is where else this story fails miserably. You know, going back to where people were going, I have no idea what was going on. This is what they should have done to solve this problem. Marvel did two things. First is when you look at their miniseries, they state the multiverse was destroyed, the heroes from Earth 616 and blah 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 blah. You know what happened in a nutshell. Secret Wars number 2. The last remaining heroes, the last remaining universes collided. The heroes of blah 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 blah, everything's destroyed except. Boom. The first issue to Secret Wars sets up the universe so we know what's going on. This just throws you in there, wastes a lot of issues of just useless crap stuff. Like, okay, here's a little battle here and here's a little battle here. Heroes that shouldn't really be here are running around. And I'm just like, you're just wasting time. You know? And I'm at a loss. The other thing that Marvel did, which is really smart, is they put out this preview book here, for free. So this way you can actually you can pick this up, and you can get a sample of these stories. You know, because like granted, people are going to go, what the hell is Ghost Racers? I don't know what the hell that is. I don't want to buy it. It's Cars and Ghost Rider. I don't know. Well, guess what? You got a preview. You can look through this and go, well, okay, this looks cool, this doesn't look cool. At least now you can make a decision based on something that you've seen ahead of time, you know, versus going to the store and making your decision just looking at the cover. You know, Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies. You could have gone, I don't know if this book would interest me. Oh, look at that, there's a preview. Wow, this actually looks kind of cool because Ultrons are going to kill zombies. That sounds great. You know what I mean? It's like, they're telling you for free how these books are going to go. You know, they have Marvel Secret Wars Journal, which did the same thing. It gives you a snapshot as to what's going on in these different worlds before those books came out. So this way we know. We're informed. DC just throws us copy-paste storylines. Every issue of those first issues of those miniseries started the same way. The first third was, okay, there's a dome, there's a bottle. We can't get out. We've been trapped in here for so long. We don't have powers. Then bang. Talos going, well, if you don't fight for me to destroy each other, you're all going to die. So only one Highlander speech, one will live. And then you had the lead up to that first fight. Every single one started the same freaking way. And they did it in the Convergence #1 issue too, because we got the speech there also. So this is what it shows me. Marvel planned Secret Wars well ahead of time, carefully planned out how they want to do this. Granted, their stories, I mean, I'll be honest, some of these stories may or may not even be good. You know, these crossover stuff. But at least they were nice enough and smart enough to give us a preview book to see if this is something that we're going to want. You know, you can tell everything was planned out. Convergence just looks like they reacted to Secret Wars. They took the idea of Secret Wars because there was already rumors going way back that Marvel was getting ready to redo Secret Wars. And they used this as the excuse, as a placeholder for their move. And, you know, going back to what Dan Dito said, you know, well, most books are no longer in continuity, but there's a couple of them are. So basically this just sets that stage where none of the books doesn't necessarily have to be in continuity. They can be whatever timeline they want to be in. You know, and then I noticed that DC's also tooting their horn saying like, well, Batman and Superman are radically different from the outcome of Convergence. Bullshit. Batman, quote unquote, died before Convergence started. Or I should say during the Convergence. And his death with the Joker had nothing to do with this Convergence storyline. Same thing with Superman being outed. I didn't see pages upon pages of that storyline. So bullshit. This is all nonsense. This was complete and utter nonsense. You could have done the opening of the multiverse without doing Convergence. You just do it. Hey guys, remember how that storyline with the Titans that we left you dangling? Well, we want to finish it because we don't want our fans to really think that we forgot about them. So here it goes. 4-issue miniseries. Boom. Done. It's all you had to do. Instead of this 8 months of Convergence crap. Anyways, this, again, while it was beautifully illustrated, the weakest storyline. Weakest everything. I mean, the weakest. I really feel sorry. I mean, well, I do realize that there were a few good crossover books from what I've heard. But let's just be honest, I feel sorry for everybody who dived into this thing and just bought. Because I guarantee you, that satisfaction level is not going to be as high. Because this is just nonsense. Fan fiction. Anyways, and just to be fair, I fully acknowledge some of the stuff that's coming out of here is kind of like fan fiction too. So, I mean, it's not just DC. Anyways, that is my rant on Convergence. This is, like I said, the worst. I could probably go on for another 20 minutes, I think, because there's just so many problems. I mean, the opportunities that I actually saw that were just wasted. There's things that they could have done with these characters that could have really been like spectacular, and it's a mess. That's all I gotta say. This is something that I would not be proud of. Anyways, I'll have more reviews later. So until next time.